Now, again, as I say again, because you guys I don't teach you, but I have emphasised really strongly to my classes, this is one you must prepare for, because you can basically work out what the exam question is before you go in. If you know that, you can prepare for it. So almost certainly what you're going to get is a question which says, has, in this case it's religion, been the main factor in the development of medicine? Now what the question is going to ask you basically is about one factor, but it's always going to be about the development of medicine, or people's understanding of medicine. Now it could be that you're asked about religion, so you need to be able to think about religion and its impact on the development of medicine, both good and bad, from the medieval period to the Renaissance to the 19th century to the modern day, including 20th century. So you need examples of the impact of religion in each of those. Now sometimes it might be that there's a really strong impact in one and very little in the other. That's fine as long as you understand it. What this question is asking you is to talk about religion and how important it's been, either positively or negatively, but then it's asking you to try to talk about one or two other factors. Now those other factors might be the following. It might be the impact of government. It might be the impact of science and technology. It might be the impact of war. It might be the impact of individuals. Those are the really important ones that you really need to know. Okay? There's also this idea of chance or luck, but I would say the really important ones you need to know are, how do these things affect the development of medicine? Now if you go in knowing something about those things and you're able to give examples from each, you can pretty much answer that essay question. That's the beauty of that question, because it might not be that it says, has religion been the main factor, but it could instead be, was government the main factor, or science or technology or war or something like that. So you can say, okay, yeah, I know that war had an impact like this but not like that. So let's just, for example, imagine it was war, this question. We could say, well, war has had a significant impact in the development of medicine, and we could say we need to give examples from each. So, for example, and I won't go through each of them because we don't really have time, but we could take the Renaissance period, couldn't we? And we could talk about Pare and his work as a barber surgeon and his discovery, his use of, forgive me, that's the wrong way around, his of antiseptic creams on the battlefield, but also his understanding about the use of ligatures. And all of these things were learned on the battlefield. They were learned as ways to kind of help soldiers prevent them from dying, if possible, on the battlefield. And if we talk about the 19th century, again, we could talk about the significance of Florence Nightingale. Again, the 20th century, the First World War and the Second World War, and we could talk about all sorts of things there, like the use of X-rays. I mean, there's so much stuff for war and how it's influenced health and medicine. There's loads. So really, there's a very strong argument to say that war has been a very strong influence in the development and understanding of health and medicine. Now, the others, there's also plenty to say about those. I won't say them now, but if you can do what I've just done there and have a few examples, you can prepare this essay, because you're going to get something really similar to that in the mock, and you're going to get something really similar to that in the real exam. So you just need to go away and prepare it. I can give you a little table which will help do it, and I can give that to Miss Page that she can use with you. So you can plan that and go in. Now the best essays here then, what do they have? They have a very short introduction, and in an ideal world you'd want your view or your argument. So in other words, you might say religion has been important, but it's not been the main factor because I believe war was the main factor, or I don't believe it's religion because I believe it's the development of science and technology that's been the most. So you give your view in the introduction. Keep it short. I would not want to see more than 2 sentences for that. Then 2 or 3 ideally factors. Look, if you can only think of one, fine, but try to make it that one, please, because you really need to write about the one it talks about. 2 or 3 different factors. Remember PEE, you've got to have evidence, you've got to explain how it links back to the question. The very best will have this judgment at the end, and they will compare those factors. But again, most of the marks are in this bit. Most of the marks are in detailed explanations of why these things influence the development of medicine. Now, sometimes, remember, they're going to influence it negatively. Religion held back the development of medicine. Remember, they insisted on the teachings of Galen long beyond when people were recognizing that those things weren't true. So it's not all positive, or not all kind of stuff that's really helped. Some of it's hindered. Bear that in mind, okay? So that one, I think, is a really good one. Now, when we went through what people got last year, one of the worst questions that people did in the last year's Year 11s was this one. So here's a little tip for you. Can I ask that you do this? Do this question first this time. Do it first. Spend the 20 minutes on it that it deserves. Do it first. Get those 16 marks, because if you've done the revision, if you've done the work, you can pick up some good marks in that one. Don't wait until you've got, oh no, I've only got 10 minutes left, I've been spending so long on the other ones. Get this one done. Then go back to the other ones, because you know that that's one is a sort of banker, isn't it? Because you've prepared for it. You know you're going to get something similar to that. Just draw your attention. This is the one to worry about spelling and grammar. Full stops, capital letters, paragraphs. If you forget to put a paragraph in, go back through it and do the double line thing, which indicates a paragraph, because an examiner will accept that. Last thing about it, use history words. Use cholera, or whatever it is. Use the proper terms. That's how you get the spelling and grammar. It's not just spelling and grammar, it's also using history terms that you get in there as well. Don't give away marks on spelling and grammar. Do you know what I mean? Don't give them away. That could be the difference between one grade and another. So make sure you do the thing which people don't necessarily like doing, which is reading your work again, checking on spelling and grammar. Doesn't really matter so much in the other ones, to be honest. As long as it's relatively clear and you can understand it, you can't mark down on it. This one you can lose marks for it, so please do focus on that. Okay. Right,